Hi there everyone, and welcome to Zedam Astrology. This is another video on my continuing series of the transit of the grahas for the period March 8th to 22nd, 2022. Join me for a brighter day with Vedic astrology to guide you over the sea of life. Let us remember that we have Rahu and Ketu axis, which brings to us for this period and continuing Kal Amrita Yuga. Okay, this is just a further delving or explanation into the summary of the sky as we as Vedic astrologer see it. And the summary of the sky here divides it into the signs, the rasis, the nakshatras, the stars, and the padas. And this visual here was taken from the Jyotish Vidya website. The moon and the star is just the moon and the sun, sorry, is just there for us to see, in correlation to what it can be or could be. It doesn't mean anything in this slide, it's just arbitrary. And the Rasi or zodiac sign is one of the 12 signs that gives you your birth details. It's your Kundali. In Western astrology, the sun sign is used, but in Vedic astrology, we more look at the moon sign for your Janma Rashi or your Lagna, but we also use the Lagna, the ascendant, based on the time of your birth. So which is why the time of your birth is so important, because the Vedic astrology looks at your Lagna based on when you were born, whether it's in day or the night, before noon, afternoon, before midnight, after midnight. There are times where the Lagna will move, and that Lagna will move every 2 hours, not every month like in the Western astrology, but every 2 hours in Vedic astrology. This is why the Lagna can move for one person within a day or another. So that is why people born on the same day may have a different Lagna or ascendant. And this is the Rasi, and if you count, you'll see 12 from Aries to Pisces, or from Mesha to Meena. And then we have the nakshatras, and the nakshatras represent the abodes into which the fruits of our labor or karma is transferred and stored. And the green arrow shows you that the grayed out areas, there is the nakshatra. So that between every red line, it's a nakshatra. And if you count, you'll get 27. So that sometimes in Vedic astrology, though, astrologers use Abhijit, which is a 20th nakshatra, and that falls in Capricorn, but most astrologers really use the 27 according to the sages in the books, right? In all the texts that we research to bring you these things. And the nakshatras disperse the fruits of karma, the highest of which is the fruit of our worship and meditation. This is our spiritual labor of life. And then we get the padas, and the padas are the 4 small red arrows, as indicated there by the large red arrow, that they are divided, so that each pada, each nakshatra here has 4 pada. 1, 2, 3, 4. But as you can see, Simha nakshatra has 4 padas in Magha and Purva, Palguni, and then in Uttara Palguni it has 1. So that's 4, 4, and 1 here, which makes it 9. So this is where we get the 9 padas in one nakshatra. And this is how we view Vedic astrology. And at the end of the day, based on a person's moon nakshatra at the time of birth, Jyotish, as it is, offers a more powerful predictive technique compared to other forms of astrology, because here you can see the details that we go into, and each of these rasis or nakshatras or padas, they have a deity, they have an energy to them, and those energies, when they clash or when they are symbolic of a flow, that they can flow together or work together, it brings you power or it brings you distress. So this is why Vedic astrology is so powerful in its predictive technique. And this is just a summary where you have 12 zodiac signs, equates to 360 degrees. One zodiac sign or rasi equates to 30 degrees. A nakshatra is 13 degrees on 20 minutes, and one pada is 3 degrees 20 minutes. Okay, let's see what the cards are going to bring us this period, what story it's going to tell us for the period March 8th to 22nd, 2022. And let's start off with the deities. And you know, these cards are my nemesis. You know this. If you've been looking at my video, you've known my struggle with these. I'm not a gambler, so that I find it very difficult to really deal with these extra large cards. But we continue and we press forward to bring you the energies and the deity that will guide us for this period. So let's see what that deity or who that deity will be. And here we go. And I can also see it there that the deity looks to be Lord Vishnu. You know, Lord Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. So that the deity we have for this period of March 8th to 22nd is Shri Vishnu. And then we are going to look at the Chakra Wisdom. Let's see what the Chakra Wisdom card is going to throw out for us. Let us see what will be our guiding wisdom to either have synergy with Shri Vishnu or to clash with Shri Vishnu, to be you know, a part of the story that is going to be told for this period. And this is the Chakra Wisdom cards that I am using, and let us see what that card is going to be for the period. And that card is, let's see, that card is Impasse. Impasse. That is the Chakra Wisdom card for this period, March 8th to 22nd, 2022. Let us look at the Bhava, no, the Graha, sorry. Let us look at the Graha or the planet that is going to come out for us to focus on. Let us see of the 9 planets or Grahas, which one we are going to focus on for the same period of the previous 2 cards. And that Graha or planet is Mercury. Mercury. So we are going to focus on Mercury and where Mercury sits in the transit of the Grahas for this period. The element now, the 4 elements that we have that we can deal with: air, earth, water, fire. Let's see what is the element that is going to help us this week and show us what we need to do. And that element is earth, Prithvi, earth. So we have a stable, grounded, reliable element that can grow when we nourish it. So this is the element that we are looking at. And now we are looking at the Bhava. Let us see which Bhava we are going to concentrate on. And that Bhava is going to be, let's see, that Bhava is Bhava 4. The house of home, the house of mother, the house of comfort. So do we have a stable home? Do we have comfortable assets in our home? Are we grounded and reliable in our home? You know, is it that there is some issue that is happening in our home that we have an impasse? But Lord Vishnu is here to give us maintenance and sustenance, give us that balance that we may have or need to move on from that impasse. We'll see what it is analyzed when we look at a card. And again, my butterfingers, and you can see the size of these cards. I really have trouble with the larger cards in dealing and shuffling to get to you the story for the period. But let's see what that story is. And you know I love the tetractys spread. You know this. So that I will be using that spread again to see what we need to do for this period. And the premise or the foundation of this spread is the 2 of Pentacles. The 2 of Pentacles. The next card we have is the Six of Wands, the Seven of Wands, sorry, the Seven of Wands. Then we have the High Priest, which is the Hierophant. The High Priest, which is the Hierophant. Then we have the Chariot. The Chariot. Then we have the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups. And oops, pull two, the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords, the Chariot, the Eight of Cups, the Knight of Swords, and the Wheel of Fortune is coming here. The Wheel of Fortune. And then we have, let's see, the Lovers. The Lovers. So Wheel of Fortune, Lovers, the Hermit. All external forces, all things that we have no control over. And Death. And now death is not a physical death, it is something that comes to an end. So that in the material world, something comes to an end for us in this period. So let us see what these cards are going to give us and how we are going to analyze them for this period. Okay, and here we have the transit of the grahas for the period beginning March 8th in graphic format. And as we note, the K2 and Rahu axis is here, giving us the Kal Amrita Yoga on this side because all the planets are here. And remember, Rahu is going anti-clockwise, like K2 will go anti-clockwise to the planets because the planets go clockwise this way. So that at the end of the day, this is what we call Kal Amrita Yoga because they are not in the mouth or body of Rahu and Ketu. And we also have here, and as I said before, the Kal Amrita Yoga is all about your spiritual guidance, your spiritual development, your faith in God, and whichever God that you worship. And here we deal with Bhagwan, and Bhagwan is the all-knowing and all-seeing. One God in various formats and visuals for us in the Hindu religion. But what we see here now too is that we have Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter in Aquarius with Neptune. The ascendant is here too with the Aura Lagna. And what we have to understand between the Sun and Jupiter, again, Sun is at 24 Aquarius, Jupiter is at 22 Aquarius, which makes Jupiter combust. And when Jupiter is combust, Jupiter doesn't share his powerful experiences as a guru of the devas with you. He shares his personal experiences. He shares, that shallow experience that may not help you, so that you have to be very wary of the guidance and the messages of counsel that you may be receiving right now, because Jupiter is combust. Mercury is there in Aquarius also, but Mercury is only at 4 Aquarius. So Mercury is there giving his own significations in terms of communication and bringing the messages of the gods, so that again, your spiritual side, your spiritual development. Are you a praying person? Are you somebody who meditates and listens to your intuition or your mind and what it's telling you? So this all depends on what you do and how you operate and how you deal with yourself. But right now Jupiter is combust, so that it might be a little ticklish for you to take the guidance from elders. It might be a little ticklish because at the end of the day, they may not be giving you the best guidance at this point in time because Jupiter is combust. And then we have the Aura Lagna here. And the Aura Lagna here deals with how you handle resources, how you yourself handle resources. And the Aura Lagna here is at 14 degrees Aquarius. So it's very close to the Sun and it's very close to Jupiter. So you may have to be very careful about, the resources that you have and how you utilize it, and what guidance you are receiving and how to utilize your money. Probably it's not a good time to invest. Jupiter will want you to expand and be brave and do the big, investment or stock sales. But now may not be a good time because the aura lagna is there, shifting just in the orbit of Sun and Jupiter. So you don't want to, lose what you have. You want to hold on to it. And, just take a little word of advice to yourself that, listen again, listen, research, and make your own decision, because it will affect you personally. And then we have Venus and Mars. They are still in a planetary war because they are at 8 Capricorn together, 8 Capricorn here, and Mars is 8 Capricorn. So that Mars is exalted in Capricorn. So Mars, while being exalted, will be very comfortable, but he reaches his peak at 28 degrees in Capricorn to be, that peak in exaltation. But Venus is there, and Venus is in a friendly sign, of Saturn, which is the owner, or who is the owner of Capricorn. But Venus and Mars also sits in the Uttara Ashada Nakshatra, which is owned by Sun, and Uttara Ashada Nakshatra owned by Sun is Venus's enemy. So Venus may not be comfortable here. So while Venus may want to give you the beauties and the luxuries in life, Mars will tell you have to work for it. And Mars seems to be the stronger in the planetary war here. Or you don't know. I don't know what Mars or Venus is in your personal kundali, so that we will also have to compare where they are in your natal chart before you can take that as advice for specifically you. Because as I always say, I don't know your information, so this is a general reading and it's not targeted to you. That if you want to find out, you need to get your own report. So that this is where we are. Mars and Venus is still at a planetary war, and the stronger of them will win that planetary war and bless you with their significations. And at the end of the day, we still have the Kalamrita Yoga to deal with. And remember, the Chaitra Shukla Pratipada is coming up on April 1st, which is the beginning of the Hindu calendar, the new year. And we are going into this new year with Rahu and Ketu giving us the Kal Amrita Yoga. So that, this is what we are looking at. We are looking at combust Jupiter and Mars and Venus in a planetary war. And we also have the stellium both in Aquarius and Saturn, and Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. So Saturn is very intrinsic for this period. He seems to be everywhere, and we need to look at that and how our karma is being portrayed, or how we have to deal with karma for this period. Okay, here we have the first 3 of the energy cards that are going to give us that impetus to move forward. And impasse is there, and impasse is that this path is not obstructed. We just want you to reroute. We want you to take an alternative route to achieve your goals. The gentleman is there standing, blocking your path. But the story behind this is that he's blocking the path to a landslide. He doesn't want you to fall. He doesn't want you to fail. He doesn't want you to be hurt. He wants you to take a different route so that you will not be hurt, that the obstacle of the landslide will not be in your path. It may be a longer way, it might be another way, but you have to take another word. You have to reroute, and this is the impasse that we are talking about. And you need to learn that there is always another way to do something. There is always another way, or an emotional way to do something. And this is the chakra that we are dealing with. Reroot yourself. And in the fourth house, what makes you feel comfortable, what makes you feel secure, and which of the 12 zodiac signs is your fourth house? Where is your support coming from? Your home base, your family, your assets that you have, those land that you may own, the property, those assets that are not movable. Where are you comfortable? Which house are you comfortable in? What is your zodiac sign? And so we are dealing with the fourth house, all about motherly affection, nurturing, nourishing, feeding. What are we trying to do to reroute, to get that fourth house in our comfort zone? And the earth is there telling us that we are on stable ground. We have reliable ground in which we can nurture and nourish and grow. So that impasse, the fourth house, and earth is giving you guidance of through Mercury, which the card we are coming up to, that listen to the messages. We are giving you the messages, and it's Mercury in your fourth house. We don't know, but this is the messages from impasse, the fourth house, and earth. And we spoke about the impasse cards previously, and we also have to align it to the transit of the grahas, where they're telling us to reroute, right? And probably that is the message that we are coming with. Normally we will listen to counsel and elders and the guidance that they give us, but the cards are asking us to reroute. Think about an alternative way in which we can get that guidance, that counsel. And Mercury here is all about the awareness of the messages and the many words that are coming to you. Let your mind tell you how to do something. Let your mind tell you, analyze it, communicate. If you don't agree with something, say so. Don't accept everything at face value, because Jupiter is in combustion, and the advice may not be what you need at this point in time, and it might be too many words for you. You might just want a simple instruction, and the simple instruction comes from impasse. That card that tells us that the sacral chakra is telling us to reroute, find an alternative means of getting to our home, of handling our home, of surrounding our home with nourishment and nurturing. The earth is there giving us the stability and the reliability. Sri Vishnu here is the maintainer of the universe, and Sri Vishnu comes to us when we need balance, when things are going wrong, and that we need him to help us. And he was with us last period, and he's here again this period. So that tells us something. The messages of the God is telling us, he's there with us. We may not be seeing him, but he's there at our backs. He's there pulling us forward. He doesn't want us to go through that landslide. He put impasse as the card for us to see this week, because he doesn't want us to get hurt. He doesn't want us to fail. He doesn't want us to fall down in that landslide and hurt ourselves. So that he's there to maintain the balance for us in our home, and he's telling us the messages to listen to it. And that stability is there. The Prithvi energy is there to give us that stability and that grounded place that we need to handle our resources. So that listen to the messages from the gods. Okay, the entire premise for this reading would be the Two of Pentacles. And the Two of Pentacles, when it comes in a reading, it's often referred to as the profit and loss card, and can point to investments and play in the stock market. And what did we talk about previously in terms of the transit of the graha? Jupiter is there with Sun and Mercury and the Aura Lagna. And the Aura Lagna is all about finances. So that the cards currently perfectly aligns with the message that we are going to get from the transit of the graha. And this is the beauty about the alignment of the tarot and the Vedic astrology in my mind, and it keeps coming through for us to see how they work together, the synergies that they have. And the Two of Pentacles is mainly a card about finances, and generally relates to decisions to be made in that area of finance. There will be tension and stress in relation to decisions around finances, as it is bound to involve a large sum of money. And I indicated that to you when I was dealing with the analysis of the transit of the graha, that because the Aura Lagna is so close to Sun and Jupiter, where Jupiter is combust and cannot give you the synergy or the good message from the devas, because he is combust. His messages is going to be warbled, and it might be a miscommunication. So this is where your tension is going to be from, because you may have a older person or some person who is very experienced, and you wanted to seek their guidance in terms of investment, but you know that they're not going through a good time right now, so you don't know whether to ask them or not. And this is where you will have tension and stress. You may be struggling with bills and trying to work out who to pay first or who not to pay, and you are bound to be stressed and feared that there will not be enough to go around. And who doesn't have that kind of tension and stress in their life in this time of the pandemic and people losing their jobs and businesses shutting down? We all have those issues. So you may need to make some cutbacks and tighten your belt where finances are concerned for you to get through this rough patch. It may be necessary to take on some extra work or more overtime to clear the backlog of bills and debts. But Lord Vishnu is there giving us that balance and helping us, so that he is going to help us maintain a balance of how we spend and where we spend. And when the card is upright, which it is, it indicates that you can manage the finances that you have, the struggles that you are having. It may seem overwhelming now and you may not see the right path, but what does impasse tell us? Impasse tell us to reroute. Take a deep breath, reroute, find an alternative, because the gentleman in impasse does not want you to go down the wrong road. He doesn't want you to be hurt and fail. He is blocking you and telling you, take another route, take another path. And this is what the Two of Pentacles is telling you. You just have to keep on top of things and let nothing slide. Be very frugal, be very focused, and understand your priorities. Don't take the priorities of others to become yours. You are your priority at this point in time. You need to find the route. You need to take the messages and understand that you have to make choices with your resources. You may tend to worry a little excessively about money, but things may not be as bad as you think, so calm down. Sri Vishnu is there. Impasse is giving you messages. The Two of Pentacles is telling you, that you have choices. And the Two of Pentacles may also represent a fledgling business, that is struggling to get off the ground or stay afloat. Great effort is being put into making it a success, but your cash flow problems may be causing tension and undue stress. You may feel that if you can just get past this stage, the money will begin to flow much easier. You may well ask yourself why everything must be such hard work. But here what Mars and Venus are in planetary war, and they're in planetary war in Capricorn, and Capricorn is all about institutions, organizations, business, the masses. And what does Mars do? Mars is the warrior. He is the captain or the commander of the army. So he wants to take action. He wants to work. And they are in Saturn's Capricorn ruled zodiac sign, and Saturn is all about discipline, productivity, you working for what you want. It's not going to come to you by lotto. You have to work for it. And this is why the work is so hard, because at this point in time, Mars and Venus is in a planetary war. So the good things in life, they are not going to come to you easy. They are not going to come to you easy, because Venus is in the Sun Nakshatra of Uttara Ashara, which is his enemy. So that you are not going to get the luxuries in life easily. And this card, this Two of Pentacles, indicates that any financial problems you have at present will settle once you stay adaptable and flexible. So take that different route. Listen to the cards. The Two of Pentacles is there, aligning with the transit of the grahas, aligning with the analysis that I did in what Venus and Mars in planetary war, and Jupiter and Sun combust. So understand that this alignment is just pure message to you, and listen. Okay, the next two cards, they are dealing with the dark and light cosmic forces that will be guiding us for this period. And the dark cosmic forces, which is one of the essential principle, because when you have good, you have evil. And the Seven of Wands here is telling us that, this is all about our determination, our resolve to hold up to the top, our fighting our enemies to the ground, and being victorious. And that we have that nitty-gritty reaction, we have that tenacity, and that we want to hold on to what we have, and we want to be very, tenacious in what we're doing. But then we have the High Priest, which is the light force, and the High Priest is all about messages from the gods, the two pillars in the back there, severity and justice. And then we have the royal robes, our ego, our leadership. But again, it's all about spirituality. So this is where the tension is coming from, and our stress is coming from, because the dark forces are there telling us, to be resolved and hold on to that fighting stance, to that area where we always want to be to the top, and where we want to take that action. Mars wants us to fight. Mars wants us to move forward. But Jupiter is here, in the guise of the High Priest, and Jupiter is not as at its best right now. Jupiter is combust. And the High Priest, the Hierophant, is giving us that spiritual pathway, because we also have the Kal Amrita Yoga to deal with. And this is just telling us, this is where we're getting our attention from, so that, the intentions are good, but we have to make the choice, because we have the dark and the light forces with the Seven of Wands and the High Priest giving us that reaction to our state of being, and it's guiding us. And the Seven of Wands is the reaction to our state of being. We want to react and be strong and be resilient, and be fighting and take that stance with the wands and war with Mars. But the light force, which is telling us, this is the one that guiding you, is telling you, look at the spiritual side. Look at the spiritual side. Have faith in yourself. Vishnu is there to maintain that balance, so that we can have that faith. So this is the dark and light cosmic forces for this period. We're going to deal with the spiritual forces now that will be guiding us. That we have Lord Vishnu, but here we have the Chariot in the destroyer position, and the destroyer position is what we need to be removed to move forward. And the Chariot is all about a journey, short traveling, moving residence. So probably we need to take that journey. We need to divert from our path that we want to be focused on with the Chariot, and we need to take that guidance from the gentleman who is in the impasse card, who is guiding us to a different route, an alternative route. And we have to change our minds as to where we wanted to go. The goal is still there, to have a better life, to have better resources, to be happy, because the fourth house is there, wanting us to be nurtured and nourished. And the earth is there, Prithvi is there. We want to be stable. We want to have reliable finances. We want to be happy. So the Chariot is taking us on that journey, and we have to go on that journey, divert our path a little bit, look at the alternative routes that we are getting for us to move forward. And the Eight of Cups is our sustainer card, which is the position that Lord Vishnu takes. And Sri Vishnu is the card that we pulled, and this Eight of Cups is all about letting go, understanding that we have to move forward, we have to do things differently. And it's not about holding on to what you have. You have done it. You have filled your cups. You have done the hard work, as I always say. But now it's time for you to move on. You have to let go. You have to understand, do a self analysis, find yourself, check the deeper meaning. You're looking for answers, but you're facing the fact. You have these cups behind you, and you are moving forward. You are taking a different route, but the cups are not fallen. They are there in balance. Sri Vishnu is balancing that for you. He's sustaining and maintaining those things that you have already created and have already accumulated. They are not empty. They are still full. So that understand, yes, you're turning your back, but look back a little bit and understand what you have achieved, what you have done, what you have um, grown, what you have nurtured. And this is the balance that Sri Vishnu is going to maintain for you. And in terms of your creator, what drives you? The Knight of Swords drives you, but the Knight of Swords is telling you that you strategized, you have planned, you have done the strategy, you have um, given all that you could have given, but now it is time for you to move on. Again, the swords there is intelligence. It's mind, it's mind over matter. You are focused, you are a perfectionist, but you are critical on yourself. You are ahead of the rest because with your quick thinking and your strategies, you are moving forward so that the wisdom is there for you, because remember, the guru Jupiter is combust, so you have to make the decision. The onus is on you. So these are the cards of the spiritual forces: the Chariot, the Eight of Cups, the Knight of Swords, that are the destroyer, the sustainer, and the creator. Righty then, we are now into the material resources or the material world of how we cope with everyday life in this period. And how are we going to cope with everyday life? The card that comes up for that is the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune can go either way based on your choice. It can go either left or right. And we have the snake there, which implies slyness and manipulative action. We have Anubis there, giving us the world, but there is hidden meaning to what we're going to get. But we have the world at our feet, and we cope with the everyday life by making choices. And the Two of Pentacles told us that, we make the choices. And just like the planetary war between Venus and Mars and the transit of the graha, or the combustion of the aura lagna close to Sun and Jupiter, we have to make choices. And the Wheel of Fortune is how we do it. We hope for the best, we pray for the best, and we look forward to good things coming in our lives. And this is how we cope with everyday life. The Lovers holds the position of the exploration of your emotions. And the Lovers is all about partnership, it's about relationship, it's about dependence, it's about support, it's about enabling your view and your vision of loneliness. It gives you support in terms of your emotions. Do I have someone I can speak with? Do I have someone I can share something with? The Tree of Life and the Tree of Knowledge is there, but there's also the Archangel, above us, telling us that we have nothing to hide, and that we can move into that relationship, we can explore our emotions, we can explore new things. Probably someone new is coming into our life to guide us, or someone old is revisiting, to help us through a bad patch or an impasse, as it were. And then we have, how do we deal with current strategies and thoughts? And here we have the Hermit. And the Hermit is all about isolation, all about meditation, all about learning about yourself, getting that power and strength from knowledge, from wisdom. And how do we do that? Our spiritual side. So the color Amrita Yoga is coming through with the cards at all levels, and in the transit of the grahas too. The Kal Amrita Yoga is telling us to be on that spiritual path. Probably we have to relook how we deal with God, and how we treat God, and how we ask God for things, or praise him for giving us health, wealth, and safety. How do we deal with our spiritual side? And it comes up all the time, so that our current strategies and thoughts should be, to meditate on ourselves and how we do and how we act in this world. And the Death card is there, telling us that our creative force, our will and ambition is to end something. So there's something in the material world that we want to end. Is it that we want to end the tension with our finances? Is it that we want to end a physical relationship or an emotional relationship? What is it we want to put an end to in the material world? Is it that we want to change residence? Is it that we want to do like the chariot and go on a journey so that we can change residence and have that alternative route that the impasse card was telling us that we need to diverge and divert from so that we won't fall down in the landslide? What is the death card meaning to you? And it all depends on the houses that is in your specific kundali. So please request your report from Zidam Astrology to get a proper reading for you. Right, we're looking at the end of the period, March 22nd, 2022. And in the previous slide, we dealt with the 4 cards, the Wheel of Fortune, the Lovers, the Hermit, and Death. And these are all cards of the major arcana. And the major arcana tells us that these are things external to us that we have no control over. So right now, in the material world, we have no control over our resources. The Two of Pentacles is telling us that we really have no control. It is going to be divine intervention and our hopes and prayers. It also tells us, with the aura lagna that was there with Sun and Jupiter, that we needed to look a little closer at how we deal with finances. And in the end of the period, as we see here, finally Sun has moved out and therefore Jupiter is no longer combust. Sun has moved into Pisces with the ascendant. Jupiter is still there with Mercury, and Venus and Mars, they have separated from 8 Capricorn where we started to now they are 22 Capricorn and 19 Capricorn. So they are no longer in planetary war because they are more than 1 degree apart. So hope is there. Things have changed at the end of the period and hope is there for us. Follow the guidance, follow the spiritual path that God has given us, that God has shown us through the transit of the grahas and the cards, the tarot alignment. Because you would recognize and understand the alignment that the tarot cards had with the transit of the grahas for this period. We had the chariot for the journey, we had the aura lagna telling us about the Two of Pentacles with our resources. We had the spiritual guidance with the High Priest and Jupiter. We also had the Two of Pentacles with the aura lagna telling us, mind ourselves with the resources. It might be out of our hands, but we need to look at it. We need to be frugal. We need to make the choices, make the best choices for us. So that the cards aligned so perfectly with the transit of the graha, and at the end of the period, March 22nd, 2022, it tells us that there is hope. March 22nd, 2022, Sun and Ascendant has moved out. Jupiter is no longer combust. Venus and Mars is no longer at planetary war. Although we still have the Kal Amrita Yoga, because that is going to be lasting for a while for us. We still have the Kal Amrita Yoga, but hope is here, Go on that spiritual path, isolate yourself, meditate like the hermit, and understand what your choices are and what impasse means for you on this journey of the chariot. I always ask that you visit my website, zidamastrology.com. My email, zida55@outlook.com, awaits your questions, your queries. Vedic astrology on my website gives you patra readings, tarot spreads, runes, and it will help you for your chakras and crystals. Subscribe, share, sign up at zidamastrology.com. As always, Bhagwan has been blessing me, giving me the resources and the time to bring these messages to you. I hope I'm doing all right. I hope you are understanding and giving view to what is being said and what is being sent to you. I hope that all is well with you, and I hope that you have health, wealth, and safety until I see you next time. Bye.